Which has impressed you more, Kyle, the way that Connor Bedard has adapted to all of the hoopla and the hype surrounding him because he seems like he's remarkably composed for a teenager, or the way that he very quickly has adjusted, it seems, to the pace of the NHL. He came out firing, he came out aggressive, and he came out with the approach that you would expect somebody with his skill set to approach it.
Yeah, I think as far as on the ice, I didn't have any questions there that he would be able to acclimate quickly and get off on the right foot from that perspective. It's the off ice and the demands that the attention's not new, but the level of attention and the number of obligations that come along with someone in his situation is you don't know how that's going to impact the player off the ice. So I would say how he's handled himself off the ice has kind of impressed me a little bit more. And not that his on ice hasn't impressed me, but it's just that we've studied him and seen him perform at a high level for so long that I thought that would be a seamless transition for him.
We were laughing earlier about Luke Richardson saying he talked to Bedard's mom, and she was asking, about the building he lived in, and they were trying to figure out where they were going to have him stay and how they were going to look out for him. She said they were waiting to make sure that he made the team, and he told her, "Oh, you don't have to worry about that." But it's you think about it, an 18-year-old, goodness gracious, hard enough to move a kid into college, and they're around all their peers and all the rest of it. This is a different, when you're going to the NHL for college, it's pretty extraordinary. Have you been, I'm sure you guys are doing everything you can to take care of him. Have you been closely monitoring all of the living situation and making sure him and the folks and everybody is up and running and taken care of?
Yeah, for sure. And you try and do that with all of your younger players, but someone in his situation, given the attention and the scrutiny and everything that comes along with it, is you want to make sure that his life away from the rink is as comfortable and as normal as possible. And so you're always in contact, and we were kind of hand in hand with the family over the summer to try and find the best situation for him and the most comfortable setup that would allow him to have his home life, but focus on hockey and not have to worry about everything away from the rink, because I think the thing that comes up is everyone says, "Whoa, what was I doing at 18?" and it's not that, and so it's a different kind of life that he's living right now, and so making sure that that's taken care of and that transition is as seamless as possible for both Connor, his family, and his living situation was really important for us.
So, Kyle, we got a glimpse last night of just the way you constructed this roster, and I think in a very wise way. You've got the veterans who have been around, and Foligno, whatever he said between periods was referenced by Connor Bedard. We saw Corey Perry as active as ever, and Taylor Hall certainly playing a role, and Donato, and all the things. And then you've got some young guys, Korchinski, and some young defensemen, and you try to mix it all together. Lucas Reichel had a really strong preseason. Where is this team in terms of expectations? I know you said yesterday before the game, where are you in the rebuild? You're in year 2. What does that mean after a game as exciting as last night's debut was?
I think we'll kind of let the players here decide the trajectory of the season and where we go. But we're just going to take things one step at a time. It was a really great night last night, but in the end, it's just one night and it's one game. But it's a very promising performance, and so we'll take that and we'll run with it. But there's a lot of development left for the players in the NHL and the players outside of the NHL. But and development means there's going to be some tough nights too. And so I'm really glad that we're talking after a nice win, and but it could have gone the other way as well. And so we'll keep that in mind. As far as where we're at in the grand scheme of things, I think we're definitely in a better place than we were a year ago, certainly, and that's what we want. And now it's the expectations on the coaches is to help these young guys grow, and the veteran players in the locker room are going to help with that, and that was all intentional. Surrounding some of these young players that were going to break into the league with some good veterans, and then coupled with the coaching staff and their perspective on growth of young players. We just want to see them take the next step in their career, the next step in their development, and slowly step up into impact players. Some will do that quicker than others, obviously, but things are really, really promising. We're really excited with where we're at. I think the steps we've taken in the last year and a half, 2 years has been very, very positive, and so we'll just look to keep that moving forward.
It's interesting. Obviously, Foligno and Hall going back to Boston. Big game tonight, just for them, kind of after being traded, and you think about this idea that this team had, like, whatever it was, 135 points. It's obviously their home opener, and it's a difficult game just on the idea of playing the second of a back-to-back. But I think I'd be a lot better at that at 18 than later in life. How difficult is that idea, just getting, used to the idea of traveling after a game? Now you wake up in another city and now you got a different opponent. It's just like you jump right into the middle of the season in the second day of it.
Oh, for sure. And that's part of the development that these young players are going to experience, right? It was a late start last night, and it was a late start to begin with, and then it got pushed a little further, just given the other games going on and the ceremonies in Pittsburgh. And so we didn't drop the puck until about 20 after 8 Eastern time last night. We didn't get into Boston probably into the hotel until about 2:30 in the morning. And so that's different for a lot of these young players who they're not used to hopping on that plane and getting in this late, and then you're going to have to face a really good team that's sitting at home waiting for you, all pumped up. Boston's got it's their centennial season, and so I'm sure there's going to be some great presentations and getting the fans going tonight, and so they're gonna walk into another hostile environment against a really good team, and so but that's the NHL. And that's something that they'll learn, they'll get used to. But, for the young players, there is a little benefit to being, lack of a better term, young and dumb, right? You walk in and you're ready to go and you're fired up. And, it's an exciting time and they don't know any better right now. And so, we'll see how that young energy jumps off tonight in Boston. But I don't expect much of a dip. So, we'll see how things play out. But again, like you said, it's all part of the learning experience for these young guys.
Goalie should be rested because Arvid Soderblom didn't play last night, but he will play tonight. 24 years old. That's an old man by Bedard standards, but a young guy in your organization. The goalie situation seems like a very good one, Kyle, with Mrazek having the kind of night he did last night. He was definitely, you talk about outstanding. He rose to the occasion, and now you have a young guy tonight in Soderblom. How would you assess where your goalie situation is and how good Mrazek was last night?
Yeah, Mrazek, Peter was great last night. He seems to like playing in Pittsburgh. He had a great game at the end of last year against the Penguins, and then I think he actually had the same number of shots and saves at the game at the end of last season in Pittsburgh as he did last night. So kind of funny parallel there, but. He played fantastic. He's a great pro. He's great around the locker room. And, I think that speaks again to, the veterans that we were looking to bring in and we already had in the locker room. It goes for the goalie position as well. And so having a younger guy like Arvid to back him up and take some of the workload off of Peter is great. I love Arvid's demeanor. He's so calm in that nothing rattles him. And then when you look down into the system, we've got Jackson Stauber, who was great in NHL action last year, free agent out of Providence College. We've got a former second rounder in Drew Comesso, played at BU and in the U.S. National Development Program. So we've got some players we really like in pro hockey, and then we've got some really good players that are going to be either in college hockey or will be in college hockey. And Adam Gajan, he's playing in Green Bay. He'll go to Minnesota Duluth after this season. And then at St. Cloud, we've got Dominic Bassi, who's had a really promising year last year and looking to continue that into his year this year at St. Cloud. And so we're really excited about our depth, always evaluating, always trying to help the development of those goalies, but really like where we're at.
I like the answer that you're going to let the players decide their trajectory. I just wonder, with some of these young guys, do you consider contract stuff? Do you have to be careful about, eating up years too quickly, or do you just want to see how they're playing, and if they deserve it, you go with it?
Yeah, my position on that is if we're in a position where we've got to pay someone a big contract, that's because they're good, and we want good players, and we want players that earn a good contract in the NHL. But part of that is developing them to the point where they are in a position to earn that. And so that's the thing that comes first for us, is the development, making sure they're going to be the best players possible. The last thing I want to do is try and get too cute with contract slides and things like that, and then you sidetrack a player's development. And I don't think that's good for anyone. It's hard enough to find great players in this league, so we're going to do everything we can to make sure that the players we do have and the young guys that are in our system are given every opportunity to develop into the best NHL players they can be, and then we'll figure out the contract situation when that comes.
You start the season in some rabid hockey markets: Pittsburgh to Boston to Montreal. Has Kyle from Chicago made an appearance? Anybody not recognize you and ask you some questions? Any interview shows that you've done?
No, I've definitely heard. I continue to hear feedback on that interview, but no one mistaking me yet. But it's still early in the road trip, and I haven't got much time to walk around. I'll throw my backwards hat on, maybe go walk around a little bit, see if I can fool anyone.
Kyle from Chicago.
Oh, that is so much
classic.
fun. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to Montreal to see you guys play, so I'm really looking forward to that trip. I've never been in that venue, and it should be pretty special. I'm sure it's going to be special for Bedard, his first game back in Canada, and his first game in that kind of legendary building.
Oh yeah, no, and like you said, we're visiting some pretty special hockey markets here right out of the gate. Pittsburgh with all the the established elite players that have done so much in this league to start, and then we come to Boston, face the Bruins. You go to Montreal, Toronto, and then you face one of the premier teams in the league to end the road trip in Colorado. So it's a great test for the team to start off, and I think it's a good opportunity for everyone to get out on the road, get close proximity for a week and or 2 weeks, and just kind of gel as a team and visit some pretty cool cities along the way.
And Montreal will mean something special, I think, to Luke Richardson as well, just because of his time on the staff there. And Kyle, I think that when you look at the coach of this team, and last year going through what he went through, tough season for Luke Richardson, but what you respected about the way your team played was they never really stopped playing. And there's that statistic out there that the Hawks were had the second most number of multi-goal comebacks last season, and you only won 26 games. And last night you did it again. What is it about Luke Richardson that gets him to get the most out of every player on the ice?
Yeah, I think it's a feel. It's a little bit of a feel thing where he spent so much time in those locker rooms as a player. He knows what the players want to hear. He knows how they want to be treated, how they want to be communicated with. And then, something we talk about with players a lot is hockey sense. But I think that goes for coaches as well. And I think Luke has extraordinary hockey sense in how to communicate and how to motivate those players and when they need to hear certain things. And so, your observation is bang on, where we never quit. We were never, we were never out of games. And despite what people might have said about the team and how they thought we would be out of a lot of games, but he kept them playing and kept them motivated and developing. And I think the thing that I'm most happy about is my relationship with Luke and the fact that we're on the same page. We see things the same way. We see the game the same way. We see how we want to treat players, especially the development of young players, and we're aligned in all of that. And so that's a very, very positive relationship to have. And when you go down after the game and you're thinking the same thing, you're saying the same thing, and it's a really good situation we've got with the GM coach relationship. But like you said, we're lucky to have Luke, and the players are responding to him.